incredibly strong hero, I think, at this level. Very strong at the pro level as well, but even stronger at this level. Bit flexible, but you expect it to be in the off lane. Then in response, you get Nick wanting to play his Dazzle. They look very good with this, and the Lopo Night Stalker again look very good and give some vision control as well, which I think is good against the Spirit Breaker. I think it's actually quite an interesting partial answer to what makes Spirit Breaker good, the vision control that Night Stalker gives you. Not completely, because I still think you need some way to purge Bulldoze, but I like that's the start of their answer, as well as being, you know, its own version of a threat. So that's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good start, I think. Yeah, so I think we're on the way to starting to it. And then this Wraith King. So this Wraith King's coming out presumably because it's a bit of a comfort hero for Daggy. I'm not convinced this is a superb pick right now, but we are seeing pro teams pick it up sometimes. So I think there's clearly some virtue in this Wraith King hero, as well as it being, as I say, one of the more comfortable heroes for Daggy. Daggy still being relatively new to Dota and having a relatively small hero pool compared to, you know, Steven on the other side. Quat ban. A bit interesting, but I guess they don't want to play it themselves and certainly don't want to play into Night Stalker. Rubik ban, Mel's probably, you know, most complete hero. Definitely hero Mel's look probably most impressive on. So where that's coming from, I can see. I also think it probably lanes quite well with the Spirit Breaker. Sounds like not a bad lane. Rubik, not this world's strongest laner, but with something as tanky and, you know, durable as a Spirit Breaker, playing the lane with it, I think they've got a bit of kill threat. The damage mitigation Rubik offers probably quite nice with the Spirit Breaker as well. So then we've got a Medusa ban. They're not going to run it themselves. Obviously, they've got a Wraith King. Medusa is one of the good carriers of this patch. So again, makes sense. Although, to be honest, I don't really see Steven playing Medusa. He doesn't enjoy it. That's actually, what am I talking about though? He played it last week though, didn't he? So I am talking a bit of nonsense there. Then you've got this Disruptor hero coming out in the bans. Again, I think that's one that Mel's quite comfortable on. I think it's quite good. Could indicate what they have in mind for Carl. Maybe they're thinking of a Puck or something like that. Naga, another one of Steven's comfort heroes. And Abaddon banned because they want to pick up the Bane, and Abaddon is just so good against Bane. However, so is Silencer, and we have seen a lot of Silencer in the pro scene as an answer to Bane recently. I can think of at least 2 pro games I've watched in the last week, and I don't really watch that many pro games anymore, where Silencer has been picked as a response to Bane. Just because it's just impossible to do anything with Bane ult. The flip side to that is we know that Nick plays a very greedy Dazzle and will want to go Greaves and Ags, and that's an excellent answer to Global Silence. It just takes Global off, certainly the Dazzle, and as many heroes as you can hit with the Shadow Wave as possible. TA, okay. I mean, this is Ruby's bread and butter, TA. Ruby plays a fantastic TA. One thing is that Wraith King and TA are both kind of quite farm-intensive heroes. We'll have to see what kind of timings Ruby can hit. But if Ruby can find that relatively early Deso and get active quite early, or even maybe just Dragonlance Blink, don't know what I'd prefer here, then I think this makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So I don't mind this at all. And then as the other pick, obviously first pick is a bit of an odd one, but I do like the fact they've used, therefore, this second phase to pick up their mid. I don't really think you want to leave it to last. Not if there's a hero you value enough. Oh, it's worth noting though, Dazzle is going to take off your Refraction very quickly. And we do get the Silencer. But I think they've actually just made, the more I think about it, this Nick Dazzle look very, very valuable. Oh. Okay, so they've opted for what is almost certainly the Dogbird Batrider in answer to the TA. I understand Carl played some bat earlier for a bit of practice. Don't think it was his best bat game ever, but and he also playing bat against Silence is a bit rough. But they've decided it's worth it to deal with the TA. Maybe bat can buy the Yules here because you've got to really get a Yules against Spirit Breaker, and it's probably not bad if there's a Silence he's got to deal with as well. So I think that's where that idea is coming from, certainly, and I like the fact that it stays active. You know, it's going to combine very nicely with this Night Stalker. And they have a team that can ball up and get active quite quickly here. So I really don't hate that at all. I just don't love the bat against Silencer and Spirit Breaker, I think. But I don't think it's horrible either. Ban the Tailblade as well, because, I mean, as Aiden will attest, playing TA against Tailblade is just quite miserable at points. Ban the Legion in response. Oh, because of the purge for the lasso and the fact that Mike would quite happily play a 5 Legion. So that I think makes sense. Yeah, and actually Legion would be very good in the lane against Dazzle. Yeah, so I think that's a really sensible ban. PA as well. So they're just like no illusions. We're not playing against illusions. Which I think is probably the right answer. I don't think they really can play against illusions. Not with the lineup they have. I think you'd have to get like a Radiance on the Wraith King, and even then you're probably just miserable. Trying to work out what carry I would want if I was Dire. They obviously have another ban and they get to see something else before they do. I mean, I'd probably want to play carry Pudge, but that's because I'm a lunatic. I think Jug's probably quite good here. I think Gyro's probably quite good here. I think Flax always... Sorry, not Flax, Side Gunner's very good here. I think Razor's probably quite good here as well. Yeah, Razor's definitely good here, actually. I don't think Steven will play carry Razor, but I think Razor would be a very good pick. They ban Tide, so they think this is a support Spirit Breaker. I think they're wrong. But maybe they don't necessarily think that, but they think Tide's a problem for them. But I just think you've got a Night Stalker. Night Stalker's so good against Tide because you can't crack off his silence. So I'm not convinced, but they clearly don't like the disruption that Tide would offer. And to be fair, they would have trouble bringing a Tide down quickly, particularly given Bat. Bat doesn't do that much damage to a Tide. Yeah. So they would be entirely reliant on trying to bring him down during the Night Stalker silence. Yeah, I mean, again, like, I can definitely see the thought process there, even if I don't like it. PL is banned, so they can't pick it Aiden. I think the PA ban was very good, as I say. Like, they don't have a lineup as well against illusions, and it's hard to find an offlaner that's brilliant at that. Venge. I don't know now. I was convinced this was a 3 Spirit Breaker. On balance, I think I still am. Because in my head I had Mel playing the Silencer. But that would then put Mike on 5 Venge. Oh, it is 5 Venge, yeah. The idea being they want to swap whoever gets lassoed. Okay. So given they can't get a good dispel to get a lasso, they're just going to opt for the swap break instead and play 5 Venge. It gives them an okay way of breaking grip as well once there's 2 points in Venge ult. They're going to have trouble with nighttime fights though. They're going to get so heavily outvisioned when this Night Stalker is playing at nighttime or when Night Stalker ult is used. And I think that's the single biggest danger DQ have here. You know, I do mostly like their draft. I'm not hugely a fan of this raking, but you know, the pro teams see more merit in it than I do, and Daggy's definitely most comfortable on it, I would think. But the vision in these fights is going to be the really decisive. And actually, I was wondering whether we were going to see this, because the night vision that this Luna's going to have is... I mean, it's absurd, right? The vision control puckin turd have at night time is off the chain. I don't think you can fight them at night. Oh, and it is a 3 Venge. Oh. 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 I don't know about that. Unless Mel's playing 3. But I thought the plan was Tom was playing 3 for them. I don't know. I think like between Night Stalker, Bat, and Luna, because Luna gives you 1,000 extra night vision. Can you imagine a blooming Night Stalker at night time with 1,000 extra night vision? You're going to see half the blooming map. And if you're in Dark Ascension, that's flying vision as well. I don't know, man. I think this is so difficult for DQ. you know, I'm trying to not focus too much on the hero-to-hero matchups, because actually I think the hero-to-hero matchups are quite good for DQ. I just really worry about nighttime fights. I don't know how they do them. Yeah. Okay, so Mel has won the last 3 games. Pog. Oh, but Nick's won his last 4. 17-3 as Dazzle in the last 20. Shallow Grave is a hell of a drug at meaning you can't die when you're out of position. It wouldn't be me if I didn't throw Nick at least some flame, right? Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. Lunar Blessing, 4 points, 1000 night vision. Night Stalker, just ridiculous night vision already. Dark Ascension gives you unobstructed vision. It would be really nice if something somewhere in any of the tooltips told you what heroes' visions were, wouldn't it? But I mean, hopefully we can get some kind of measure. You know, he sees from there to there, which, you know, you just don't get on other heroes. The night vision of this Venge hero, for example, is just tiny by comparison. Like, Night Stalker stood there and is getting more than ward vision, because their ward is top, right? But he's seeing all the way to here. You can't normally see there if you stood here. You normally see just across the river at night time. Oh, hold on. That's the fucking Radiant ward. I'm just an idiot. I need to press this button. There we go. Yeah, still that vision is absurd. Okay. My point still stands. Point still stands. That look, Venge night vision, relatively small. Silencer night vision, relatively small. Lunar light vision, night vision, you know, relatively small until you get, well, he's got a point in Lunar Blessing, which is why it looked a bit bigger. I was a bit confused about that. Night Stalker night vision. Fuck you, I see fucking miles. Looks like we're just going to see a 2-for-2 rune trade then. So let's talk about these individual lanes and how I expect them to go. So, Bat versus TA mid. I would expect Bat to have a bit of an edge in this. Surprised that this start from Ruby with a finished wand already and refraction, because you spent 150 gold there on the assumption you're going to get to 20 magic wand charges. I prefer you have something else and then upgrade it to wand early with some of your early money if you think you're going to get to your 20 charges. Carlson well here, he gets the range creep and the range creep deny. That's a good first wave for the Batrider. Yeah, I would expect that Bat probably is a bit favoured mid, but maybe a little bit less than I thought. Top lane, I think Luna Bane is probably just too strong a lane here. Like, Bane is just such a strong laner. The Spirit Breaker should compensate somewhat, and is doing completely the right thing here, by the way, by blocking the pull camp. I mean, I guess I would expect Luna to farm quite a bit better, but the kill threat's probably in the other direction. If there are going to be kills in this top lane, I expect Radiant to find them, but I still expect Dire to get more from the lane, if that makes sense. Now moving down to this bot lane. I think Night Stalker Dazzle is just a stronger lane, to be honest. I think this Dazzle hero is going to do very well. I think this kind of lane he likes. I mean, Mike is bullying quite well though, got to be said, and Ruby has in the second wave done extremely well, actually getting to 7 and 3. And is already off taking the small camp. Oh, this must be 3 waves in. Yeah, 3 waves in. Taking the small camp. Heading up to stack. Are we going to stack? Oh, we're going to stack Ancients. That's pod content. Quickly proof. Carl's got the wave in a nice place. So this is actually really efficient for Ruby to be doing because of how good the wave positioning for this Batrider is. Oh, Carl has just used Firefly when there's no one contesting the lane against him. That's kind of unnecessary. He's not on a rush to push the lane out, and this level 1 Firefly is very expensive. It's got a hugely long cooldown. Like, if Ruby did see that, Ruby can now play this lane completely free.
Don't burn your fingers.
Definitely having a bit of trouble with the napalm though, and you know that happens. The movement's slow. It's a bit awkward. You know, if it weren't for the the fact that Ruby keeps taking small camp creeps, Carl would be even on CS, so he's doing fine. But the thing about the small camp is, the creeps aren't worth much money, but they are worth quite a bit of experience. So he's, he's a bit behind. Not less than I thought, actually, considering. Did Ruby miss some lane experience? Okay, I'd better start a pause timer. Oh gosh, yes, Mike is in an interesting place. It's very generous, by the way, for them to offer to back off, because I don't think they can be held responsible for the fact this happened. I don't think it would be unreasonable to punish it, but I do think it's quite sporting that they're not going to. If you see what I mean. Like, they don't know when he DC'd and all of that, but it's very sporting of them to say we'll back off and not just kill him, because that's 100% dead with his positioning as long as there's poison touch. Oh, there isn't poison touch on him. And Void is on cooldown. Maybe he would limp away with use of the Fairy Fire or something like that, but yeah, I mean, either way, nice of them to do. They are obviously ahead in this bot lane already, 9 and 2 plays 5 and 1, and similarly, Stephen, as expected on this Luna in the top lane, is a bit ahead. That said, Tom has done a good job getting this wave position back here. Got 2 creeps, but I think Stephen had 2 as well. Maybe the lane equalizes to it probably just ends up meeting about here after these 2 creeps die each way. Question is whether Alex can be in experience range if any things die here and vice versa. They probably don't though, even with aggressive denying. Okay, let's have a thing. What do people have queued up then? So Ruby isn't going for a bottle. I thought buying a bottle was normal on TA. I'm no expert. But I'm going to check for a jacket quickly. I mean, even some carry TAs are buying bottle. Only 10% of them, but I would think that maybe the expectation is that you'll just get enough mana and shit from napalm, so you don't really care. But it does seem a bit like Carlos having free range of the water runes here and just relatively free range of the mid lane. I think Ruby has played this matchup more than I do, knows that she doesn't think she can stay in this lane too long as TA, and plans to just repeatedly stack the ancient camp and just go take it. But of course, Batrider can take ancients as well. So the counterplay to that might be is if that ancient stack gets to a 3 or 4 stack, if Carl sniffs it out and invades for it, we could see a big fight at the ancient, which would be obviously very exciting. I'm just going to ignore Stephen. I don't think there's a pause time deduction argument to be made for the start there. We normally do pause, it's normally like everyone should be in and we want to start by 10 past at the latest. It'd be great if, we could get to the point where we do 7, but... yeah, it'd be great if we get to the point where we start at 7, but most IDL games don't start till 7:10, 7:15. So I'm not going to apply a pause time deduction for that. I don't think it's right. Yeah. Anyway, Stephen's having a great time. Don't know what he's complaining about. He's got tons of creeps here. Right, so we've got Mike back in now. Got to be ready to restart their pause time. Sorry, to stop their pause timer. Pause timer stopped. 5 min 12 remaining. Yeah, so they're getting some good denies down here, so we just saw 2 on screen, I think. So I just put chat back on, in case anyone actually wants to talk to me, Sag. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Tom getting bullied a bit. Oh, Mike's gone again, restarting the pause timer. No one said they want to resume, restarting the pause timer now. Ah, Snake. Who? Snake X? Not sure. Oh, Pog, people talking to me in chat. Thank you, everyone. Good thing Mike put the hyphen in a random ass crash. Would be less pleasant. Yes, I don't understand humour, but yes. And hi, Hannah, as well. Yeah, okay. We're just doing small camp again. I presume Ruby's plan is just to farm stuff over here and only come to lane when it comes into a convenient place. So I imagine Carl is, yeah, pretty even on net worth, despite the fact he's got 4 CS less, because he's getting lane creeps reliably. That said, this is going to now push in, because of where the creep position is going to be. Ah, Illiderp. Hello! Yeah, not having emotes is a blow. I wish it was possible to get emotes on YouTube streaming. Honestly, I think that's the single biggest thing holding YouTube back as a streaming competitor platform, because in many ways, I really prefer it. They just need to add custom emotes, I think. It's probably on the agenda. Too many big streamers are moving over here. You got... Okay, Wraith King is 1-2 there. Is that normal? I think that's normal. One, two, yeah, 1-2 is normal. Cool. Carl is 2-1-1. Just FYI, sorry. 2 min 30 remaining on pause timer. Was just getting that precisely to the second. Petition to rename Quota to Douglas. I think this is going to be hugely frustrating. My heart really does go out to them on a genuine and serious note. And I'm not often genuine or serious about anything. The amount of frustration, etc., you've got to feel with in week 1, your carry doing desync non-stop, and now Mike having computer problems non-stop is, I would imagine, significant, and it really does suck. I'm just going to check the ideal rulebook, because I have a feeling I should restart the game rather than leaving it to the teams. Oh, they can keep it paused for a longer period with the consent of the opponent. There are emotes on YouTube, which is part of the membership, and you can only use once on that channel. Okay. We could... Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you couldn't get them. Fair enough. Yeah, they've got a bit of work to do on the custom emotes anyway, plus the emotes are crap right now. I don't know the best way to handle this. I don't know whether to tell Dyer that they can keep it paused if they want, but I feel like that puts a pressure on them to do so. Just preparing this message. This is rough. Up to Dyer to choose how they want to do. Base Carl has given you a minute. Okay. I think Daggy should probably just try and play this under tower as best as possible. Very rough though. I would just dump Mike out experience range, honestly. You're going to have a rough enough time as carry on your own anyway. And, you know, you don't want to try and micro both. I think particularly when one of them's a silencer, it's, you know, just so killable that you take your eyes off it for a second. And my micro's not bad, you know, I play Lone Druid. I can control 2 units happily, but I wouldn't here. Checking if Mike is even back in Dota. Oh, bless him, he's not. This is where my immortal emote would be if I had one. But I do have the best one. KFC Gravy G Fuel. Check out people sponsors. No sponsors on the Dyer? Have we got no sponsors on the Dyer? Oh, I'm Dyer IDC. Okay. You know, Mike, the only thing more ancient than him is his PC. He's gone. He won't be gone. He's just restarting his whole setup, and Mike's computer is, you know, an antique. I presume at some point they, I don't know, stick him in the trees beneath this tower when they're gonna give it up or something. Oh, they've actually turned this around, and this is what I was saying. I do think the Dire lane is in general stronger, but I think the Radiant lane is the one with the kill threat here. Like, that nuke damage from this magic missile is quite significant. I think it's probably reasonable he's not gone for Vengeance over because there's... Gonna get some decent damage on Mel here, but, you know, that wave from Tom is also, you know, it's not a lot of damage, but they can get some clicks on. Yep, Ruby has stacked the Ancients again, so that's now a triple stack. The difficulty to this, though, as well, is if they do invade now, the triangle, they're short a hero to defend the triangle with, if you see what I mean. Bane has 5 armor? And was getting tower order as well there, so was playing with 8 armor for some of that. That is wild. I mean, the inbuilt stout still means Spearbreaker is probably, you know, going to win those trades, but I mean, the Lunar Blessing, not insignificant either, though. But yeah, the inbuilt stout probably. Then you got Bash versus Brain Sap as well, but yeah. Did they side pull? No. I guess just under tower, so pushing. Karloff jungling as well, but you don't really want to miss these creeps for that. Low cooldown 70 damage. It does add up, yeah. I was more just saying, you know, if you can hit them once or twice with it, along with it as well, that's when, you know, that's when wave becomes significant, I think, rather than just a bit of a nuisance, particularly in a lane where they're playing with sticks. Level 1 wave level 2 wave now, 75 damage. Is it magic damage? Yeah, so actually it's less. You know, it's probably about 40 damage net when you account for the impact of stick. Alex really hunting this Mel Spirit Breaker, but Mel has, you know, due to Mel behind the tower. Alex can't find the kill. Mel's presumably going to wait for Alex to show somewhere, then walk home. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Nicely done. Nicely done. Good read. Carl has got mid pushing in. Still has his catapult as well. Oh, Mel's TP'd mid? I don't understand this TP. You're not creating a kill here. If you go anywhere near this bat can just kill you here. Oh, but is just going to get the 6-minute rune. And now the TP's worked out. I think I'd describe that as a tiny bit fortunate Carl went the wrong way. Obviously they knew where the rune was because of this trap. And now, actually, Ruby has just done this ancient stack beautifully. Is miles ahead on CS. And is the highest level in the game. So I'm going to call that a very big win for the Vertigrate. Unfortunately, Nick is able to just hunt out the Wraith King in the jungle. It sucks, but that was always going to end up happening, unfortunately. Can't really blame Daggy for that too much, particularly as Daggy doesn't get to play the triangle, because that's where Ruby is. And Tom goes down the top lane because he's been left alone, and he is, at the end of the Vengeful Spirit, is not the easiest hero to play a solo lane on. Spirit Breaker now sitting mid for the experience. Them having those islands online means that they basically have to ditch all 3 lanes. I mean, Tom can sit top and get experience or something, but this is just really rough. Yeah, Daggy TPing up to here, but Nick's got a high ground ward down, so Nick immediately comes straight back. He's going to cast level 3 poison touch on this Wraith King. Oh, I didn't see that. That's a really good call out as well. Yeah. Oh, we got Mike back. You are still dead, Nick. I don't care. Yeah. But Nick's not going to be too unhappy having taken the enemy Cali. Shouldn't be too happy either, though, given the enemy support hasn't been in the game for the last 5 minutes. Bot tower goes down. Loaf has moved over to kill Mel, so isn't able to. And Loaf is now just going to run away. It's night time. Huge vision advantage. Huge movement speed advantage. You're not killing Loaf here. He's just going to TP out. Yep. TP's back to his lane. Off he goes. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Stephen is now level 6. Is 2-1-3. Yep. Has the pointing glaives now then. Signaling an intention probably to leave the lane at some point soon. But doesn't have any need to. And actually, I think this might just be a dead Tom again. Oh, Nick's here as well. This is 100% a dead Tom. Meanwhile, Ruby's got a finished Dragonlance already. Well, let's look at some net worths. Yeah. So Ruby's doing great, but the rest of the cores aren't, with Nick ahead of the 1 and 3. It's really hard to read too much into this with Mike having been offline for so long. You can say that Dyer have done a great job capitalizing on it, and they absolutely have, no problem there. It's just hard to afford too much blame, if you see what I mean, to the Radiant team. And say they could have done loads of things differently or something like that. Because the TA always wanted to ditch lane and go triangle in this lane. You know, we saw them start setting that up right at the start. And then Wraith King can't stay bot on their own against blooming Dazzle Nightstalker, but also can't go triangle because that's where the TA needs to be. So has to just play around the bot side jungle, which obviously, as we've discussed, is quite rough. And Nick did a great job punishing. Nick does die though. Which is going to get Mike basically a full level, I would have thought. So they do set up on Sabata with the charge and the trap, and they're going to kill Sabata here as well. They're doing a great job here, taking advantage of Ruby being the individually strongest hero in this game. But they are going to see their mid tower get punished as recompense for this. So you've got Loaf rotating mid to help Carl probably take the mid tower. Carl has his travels. Carl is doing fine here as well, obviously. 4k on all these scores, you're not going to be unhappy about it. It's just you're not TA level to farm because you didn't get to farm a quad ancient stack. I presume that... Oh, that doesn't block it. Oh, that's a Radiant Ward, that's why. I presume that therefore one of the invasions planned to block that. Or Mike wanted to make doubly sure that that hadn't happened. Daggy showing some way out in this bot lane. I think we're going to see Loaf go on Daggy here. I don't think Daggy dies twice. Might die once. Oh, no. Dodges on Loaf really well, starts TPing out, doesn't get seen because Nightstalker has no daytime vision. You know, it's the counterpoint to what we were saying. At night time, it's blooming impossible. At daytime. Ooh, good swap from Tom. Nick does great, but of course he's going to die here, and that's another -2, +2 for Mike. More levels for Mike. Good stuff, in short, from Radiant playing their position. And Tom now, you know, he's not back up with the rest of the cores yet. But he's doing alright. Again, also, you know, following that point of both Wraith King and TA wanted to go jungle, Tom got ditched because someone wanted to sit mid and stop them just losing their tower to creeps. Which was Mel, because they don't have another hero that can. So this is actually where the bat pick is proving very sensible. Having created that laning dynamic where two heroes end up wanting to ditch the jungle. Because, I mean, like, obviously Wraith King had to do so earlier than expected, but Wraith King's always going to want to, in that lane, I think, ditch the jungle when you're dealing with Nightstalker Dazzle lane at night time. That is the lasso coming out on Tom, but I don't think Tom's in particularly any trouble here, no. And that's the charge connecting on Sabata's Bane. Oh, and a bash, and then an ult, and then a stun. I think that's just a dead Bane, you know. Oh no. Shallow Grave. And now this is where the vision difference comes out. Oh, but Loaf's actually just got stunned and is going to die, with Nick dying to Dazzy on the backlines. Oh, that illusion rune just saved Loaf's life. It was ticking down to two different things, but the illusion rune dispelled them. So Loaf unbelievably lives there, and just Nick dies. I'll bet to Ruby. And Ruby is still 1,000 ahead of Steven, but you can see Steven already pulling ahead of the rest of the cores in the game. Yeah, that Lunar effect's starting to come into play. He's got 3 points in Glaives now, has a Mask of Madness, and is about to have a finished Dragonlance as well. Oh, Ruby's going straight BKB, I think is what this is signalling. The item purchase order does, you know, indicate the potential to decide, actually I want the Deso after all. But I do expect that this will be the BKB. It's just common now for a lot of heroes to just buy the Mythical Hammer first anyway. Saw Mars doing it earlier and a Huskar doing it earlier. The Huskar in particular surprised me. Alex finding a D ward, Mike at least stopping the sentry. And Mike sitting mid, getting the global signs. Now global's up. And Daggy's having to take the dangerous farm again. You don't love this when you're playing carry. This is just such a dangerous place to be, you know, there's a reason why it got christened the dead lane by BSJ, and only part of that was smart branding. Yeah, I agree, Illiderp. 2k down is really not too bad at all. Yeah, Loaf does have this Radiant skewed. I presume this is a meme, with the Echo Saber that he's actually bought, but if not, I hate it. Carl has a piece of his BKB now as well, obviously. Mel has the phase. Nice, phase are important. Discharging top to you know, go push that in. Don't mind that at all. Carl, level 11, takes the spell amp. I prefer to just put more points in Flame Break because it doubles the burn duration, therefore makes Flame Break a lot more useful. But you know, so be it. The key timing for Carl here, you know, is at 20 minutes having the BKB and getting the shard as quickly as possible and having 4 points in Flame Break at the same time. Oh, they're setting up for a kill on the TA here, but you know, I think the plan was they wanted to lasso, but then they saw Tom and realised they can't. And the level 1 Flame Break, again, also just does nothing to break refraction. Sorry, my lovely wife just bought me food, or if anyone's keeping up with their Twitch drama memes, does anyone know the ninja meme? Where he's like, you know, I'm owning a League of Legends and my braless wife just brought me a burger or something like that. I'm not having a burger, just to be clear. I am having what looks like a rather lovely curry with a naan bread and some poppadoms, and raita and mango chutney. Can I get a hell yeah? Oh, charge coming down to bot. They're connecting on loaf bone here. Oh, does get the silence to stop Mel's ult, but Mel then immediately bashes anyway. I wish I had this kind of bash luck. I don't think they can kill this Night Stalker here. I presume it's just going to run away far too quickly. There aren't many level 10 talents worth taking at level 10. Completely correct, Sean. I think you're completely right about that. And they do kill Nick before he can get the grave off. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Carl's coming under some pressure. He does manage to get a really nice flame bait pushing them back. And Ruby's unable to connect. And I think that's going to be Carl living here. But I mean, the Arcane Curse alone is having some significant impact. Oh, they swap Steven in. He gets the ult off, but he's trapped in the middle of 5 heroes. There's no way this ult does much. And I think Steven's just dead. That's a lovely swap. Yeah. And actually, this is really lovely play from the Radiant. They've put so much pressure into this mid lane. Ruby's gone back for the bottle. When did that happen? Am I just an idiot? I didn't see that get picked up, and it certainly wasn't an early item. But I mean, I do like it. Bottle's an important item. Yeah, them keeping this fighting focus on the mid lane. He's doing a good job. Oh, that's a lovely grip though. And the charge just come through. They get the BKB off. The global though, the BKB mitigates that backlighted damage. The globals come out. Not able to do too much, and I think Loaf's just dead here. Yep. Steven's still dead, so this is already a 4v5 fight. Ruby's killed Nick as well. Mel is going to go down. Carl's trying to chase, but there's a haste rune on this TA. And that's another huge fight win, actually, for the Radiant, considering everything that was expended. The charge and global both ended up cancelling the Fiend's grip. But Carl's dead as well. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of damage coming out quickly. The armlet is now finished on the Wraith King as well. And yeah, this BKB purchase from Ruby, I think 100%, you know, made that fight for the Radiant there. It's already looking pretty good, but you know, any kind of kill threat on Ruby just suddenly disappeared when they were able to stop the grip and use the BKB. Well, they are just going to bully down this mid tower now. This is some really good work from the Radiant team. And actually the net worth is looking far more even, with it just being Steven and Ruby miles ahead, but the other cores now looking a lot more even than they were a few minutes ago. Mel charges back in. I think that's going to be very dangerous. Might even tick. No? But they get the uphill void because of these wards. But does immediately and correctly identify that there are wards there. Oh, but Ruby's... Oh, the Flame Break gets BKB. That's nicely done. But Carl's running in at the back lines. They're going to have to retreat out together. Coming back in, there's an invis rune on Nick. If they can keep it to just losing Mel, I don't think they'll be too unhappy though.
Blessings upon a loyal warrior.
Yep, and sure enough, they did correctly identify the dire wards here and get them dewarded. Which, I mean, it doesn't completely pay for the life of your Spirit Breaker, but it's certainly not a bad response. And the net worth lead now is down to 1k. Game getting a lot closer. As I say, finished armlet now on this Wraith King. The Night Stalker no longer really threatens it. And sure enough, the Radiance has been cancelled and it's going to be an AC, which is still quite an aggressive item, but it's good against this TA hero. I do kind of feel like they need halberds. Oh. Ruby and Mel connect onto Carl, and I don't catch it on camera. Carl dies. Carl's almost got the BKB. Not going to be that helpful in that kind of situation, though. Going to need some kind of armor item as well, I think. Only rocking 7 armor right now. Nick has a mech. He's going Greaves, as we expect from Nick. And Steven now Manta. You know, Steven's looking like he's got good items, as expected. Ruby's got the blink. Okay, so they are actually just fully skipping the Detto on the TA with the plan for it to be bought by the Wraith King, which makes sense, and I should have thought of that sooner. They don't get to commit for this, I think, not with the Vision Advantage the Night Stalker's giving them. They commit heavily onto an illusion, and they're still playing against the huge Vision Advantage the Night Stalker's giving them. Look at this. So I'm right now just on Dire Vision, yeah? Now this is Radiant Vision. And bear in mind, Radiant have a ward. Oh, that's a good jump uphill from Ruby onto the TA. Ruby gets gripped though. Oh, swap to stop the grip. Good swap. But they're still connecting onto Ruby under the Night Stalker. Well, that's going to be a dead Ruby. In response, a dead Bane. But that's 3 dead, 4 dead. And Dire now asking, can they convert this into a Shan? I think the answer is clearly yes, but they want to get Tom first. Carl pops the Arcane Moon at the end of the fight. That's fine, you know. Didn't use lasso anyway, so that's a 5-for-1 trade there. And you know, after the momentum having feeling like it was going towards the Radiant quite significantly, that's a great fight back from the Dire to ensure they keep the game in their favour and get Steven the Aegis. They're setting up around the mid lane. I think I'd kind of like to see Daggy get a blink before this Deso, you know. Give him so many different ways to get into these fights. Nick. Ooh, that's a dead DP from Tom if he completes. Yep, Tom is... Oh no, because they managed to connect on Nick. His team's actually wrapped from the other side, and in their eagerness to kill, and, you know, focusing entirely on that TP from Tom, as I did as well, Dio have been taken unawares by this, and now Steven's in a bit of danger. Carl's BKB'd, but... Oh, Firefly is up. Oh, but Ruby's BKB'd in response. Ruby goes down as well. Steven's presumably going to die with, you know, for the second time here. I don't see there's any living in this. Yep, and sure enough, that's a triple kill for Ruby, actually, as well. Buys the Shard. The Shard is the Silence, I believe. Which also increases trap vision, which, you know, it's not going to be enough to do with the Vision Advantage and Night Stalker. But it's certainly quite significant, and they're going to get a DD on Ruby as well. So... good fight back in response from Radiant, and we're just seeing fights go either direction. Swallow over here from Tom, and we bring Loaf down. While Tom just lives, having eaten then a Void and a Brain Sap. Has his Ags though, so he's presumably quite willing to die at this point. Ruby slapping away at this mid tower. With the Daedalus queued up. I mean, this TA is doing a great job, and, you know, part of what we're worried about with the Batrider has, I think, come true here. They are struggling to really capitalise on it against the number of things that make Batrider's life difficult. The Silencer, the swap, the charge, just their ability to, when that happens, then load a ton of damage into this Batrider. Oh, I'm hungry, I need to eat some of my curry. Seriously guys, this curry is like absolutely sick. And the fact it's got all the trimmings is amazing. My wife is a saint. Oh, the catch! Uphill onto Alex. They do get the swap in from Tom. Tom doesn't mind dying at all. Particularly if it means eating a bunch of Steven's ult. Global goes off as they come in with the Night Stalker and with the Batrider. Tom is going to go down for the second time, I think. Oh, and they lose the Silencer as well. They do get the lasso onto Ruby post BKB. And actually, this is just going to go in favour of the Dire. With Steven just living. with the grave.
That was almost a disaster.
And Dire win a fight again now. I can't keep track because I thought Radiant won the previous one, but they did. So we're getting really up and down stuff here. The win probability is very even. 60%. I mean, like obviously 60% isn't insignificant, but it's still pretty even. I would think 60-40. The net worth leader's gone back to being quite large again at 7k. 24 minutes in. I'm not saying it's like astronomical or game winning net worths. We're talking about anything like that yet, but it, you know, it's significant enough. And Steven's about to finish a BKB. I don't know how important the Lunar BKB is here. I almost wonder if this is wrong. I'll say it quietly because Steven will like murder me, but I almost wonder whether. Oh, that's a great swap from Tom, bringing Steven into Ruby. Yeah, he's just dead. And Nick's going to die as well. That's going to be 3-0 in favour of the Radiant. I really cannot keep track of who's winning these fights. Tom is getting some sick swaps here, though. Like, it's got to be said. Still using the keen optic, and quite right if he's going to find these swaps, I think. You know, that's been a real standout play. Because he's doing this on very little net worth. Like, the net worths on these other Radiant cores are kind of poor, but they're just doing such a great job balling up around the TA. And actually, it was one of the observations that the casters made in the OG game one earlier, right? Often, having the top net worth hero can be better than having the next 3 most farmed heroes. Because a hero with 3 items can just be stronger than 2 heroes with 2 items. Or so the analyst claimed. You know, I'm not that clever. I don't think that sounds entirely right, and we're not entirely in that situation anyway because of how close Steven is to the TA. But you know, there is a point in there, right? They have just left a nether shore behind. Hopefully, Daggy picks it up. Yep, Daggy at least is paying attention. Thank you, Daggy. Net worth lead drops back down to 5k. This game is a roller coaster, and I'm very much enjoying it. Dire must have a read on where the Radiant heroes are. They must know they're up here. Which means I really shouldn't be going anywhere near them without loaf. I don't get these BKBs. Not really. And I certainly don't understand Steven's BKB. Does a good job, man, to dodging the stun though, and it's going to bring Tom down both times. That's a ravage of a charge though. Tom quite rightly kiting out. Daggy's going to end up losing first life here. Tom does lose his second life. Daggy comes back up for second life. Is Ruby just not here? Ruby is just not here. So yeah, this is now going to be a fight in favour of the Radiant. Nick got shard, and Nick does not have shard. He got that one right though, didn't he? And Steven should have the big vision advantage to get his positioning right in these fights, if you see what I mean. But yeah, I don't understand the BKB particularly. It doesn't really help you with Barra. I'm particularly not given Barra's going to have Ag soon, because all the bash stuff, it might be magic damage, but it's not stopped by spell immunity. Charges now, but it's not when you have Ags, and you know, 200 gold from Ags. It doesn't really help against the TA as far as I'm aware. I guess you can get rid of Magic Missile? Maybe Wave of Terror? Yeah, Wave of Terror, I guess. And that stun as well. And sure, you can remove, like, fucking Arcane Curse and Last Word. But, you know, I'm not excited by this BKB. I wonder whether it could have been, you know, just the Butterfly and go early Butterfly Satanic with the extra Dispel. Charge into Steven. That's a swap up onto Steven. They have a plan here, and that's put Steven in the middle of the fight. But Steven has a plan as well. It's called Get Shallow Graved and be in the middle of the fight. So Ruby goes down. That was a grip in there. The global does come out, but Ruby was brought down too quickly in it. And now this is going to be a team fight in favour of the Dire. Guys, has the team won 2 fights in a row yet? Because I'm really struggling to remember. They do take the tier 2 without that Luna, but I don't think they can really go high ground particularly without the Luna. Low fuses ult. It's probably going to get Tom's illusion here, but he's going to be back up in 4 seconds. Why the hell does he care? Does swap himself back in quite an aggressive manner. He's going to be back as an illusion again. I think that was interesting. Yeah, I mean, Radiant's plan for these fights seem to be burst Steven down straight away. And that last fight, and a lot of these fights, I guess, are coming down to can Nick get the shallow grave off. So they probably actually need to either be using global to stop that, or then Nick's got Greaves, so that's not particularly going to work, or finding a way for the charge from Mel to connect on the Dazzle and not on the Luna, I would guess. What's why he bought the BKB? Whether or not he's stunned isn't going to be the determining factor on whether or not he gets burst down at the start of the fight and it doesn't stop him getting swapped. I think the Satanic will, and this Butterfly will help a lot. But I don't think being stunned particularly matters. I think it's a lot on Nick keeping him alive. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm normally a huge BKB advocate, and I just don't particularly see the early value of it here. It does grant you some extra survivability, but I just feel like other stuff might give you more. Tell you what though, I'd like to see Tom pick up his shard, I think. Taking away 20% base damage and base armor from Luna, who is a hero that thrives on base stats, would be very strong, but would also justify the BKB purchase a little bit more for Steven, given as we discussed, Wave of Terror doesn't pit spell immunity. I think he allows him to stand and fight when he has the Satanic. I don't think BKB really, until he has the Satanic, is worth that much, but you know, that's just my opinion, Alex. I can be wrong, but I think other things will enhance his survivability more. Oh, Ruby's just gone and snuck road. Oh, Radiant were just in motion. I'm just an idiot. Too busy arguing with Illidan. Now, you gotta have the Satanic, Sean, I think. Yeah, I don't think you can do BKB crit. I think you've gotta have the Satanic. That's Dire's push just ended, I think, because of this Aegis. They do get most of the bot tower, but that's a nice thing for Radiant. They do classic movement, Dire all in the bot lane, let's go sneak Roche. And they put the shard on, I guess, the Spirit Breaker? I really wish it was on Tom though. I think this Venge. Yeah, it's not about damage if you're gonna stand there though. I think he does plenty of damage. Like they like Dire winning the fights where Steven lives through that, you know, initial bit. I think that's my read of how this game looks. Dire's vision actually looks really strong here. You know, Dire can see a lot of the map, should know exactly what this movement was. Radiant, they see some heroes top and connect on them, and Ruby just bursts Alex down to start the fight, and Dire are all running away. Lowphone does teleport up, wondering if they're going to take this fight, but finds out they're not. Is however farming under this obs ward and gets charged. They've got the connection on the charge. I don't think they're going to get him, but you've just seen them top. You can't stay here. Skip Manta, BKB, crit Satanic. I think the Manta's too important here though because of global. But I mean, Nick is, you know, Nick is doing Nick things and is just randomly pushing mid tier 3. But Radiant as 5 have just taken the top tier 2 in response. Still no shard on Tom. Tom's buying a Manta. Why is Tom buying a Manta? Starting to see the inklings of a fight, and that's oh, Stephen comes in from the side, gets a great introduction. This is Dyer's fight, I'm certain. Just because they've managed to bring Stephen into the fight the right way. Ruby just got gripped on the back line through the entire BKB duration. Tom does stop it, but this is a 5+ Aegis for 0, I think, with both Tom and Daggy's extra lives as well. Yeah. And there it is, Stephen gets the right entrance to the fight, and Radiant aren't able to just burst someone down at the start, and they just kind of had heroes dangling in a bit of an odd way, to be honest. Both teams. The start of that fight was a bit unusual. I think we're going to have to see some buybacks come out from the Radiant here. I'd certainly expect that Ruby's going to have to use hers. Nick has what looks like a finished axe. Oh. Tom just dies again. This is a problem. This is a big problem. You get the Ruby buyback, but they're staying, and they're quite right to, I think. Oh, Ruby's BKB'd. Dumping damage into Loaf. Loaf does get graved, and Ruby's lost almost all their health. Ruby's dead. This is it. That's game. Yep. GG. And Dyer now as well. Quite an abrupt end to a game that was just one team winning a fight and then the other, with the first team that wins 2 fights in a row just winning the game. Ultimately, I think the story is kind of told in the net worths. I don't know to what degree this was true 3 minutes ago, but... ultimately, looked good for a while for Radiant, but the Luna did end up being too much of a problem. On which note, I'm going to eat some food. And there we have the result of game 1. While we wait then for game 2, let's review some clips from Puckin Turd's game last week. So here is your draft from game 1 of Puckin Turd's game last week. With Carl picking up voice bit for himself, the Stephen Dooser snap. We do see the Dazzle Night Stalker again, something that we just saw in game 1 this week as well. So there you are. There was a Co-op Sniper CK Tricor there with the Lena and Jakira support on the other team. And here is your decisive fight. So obviously quite a decent net worth lead. Pete's was just 4-staffed out, land a lovely ice path, but both supports of Dyer then go down. They try to go into Carl, but G is really struggling on this CK, and the Medusa hero is obviously incredibly farmed. And that ends up being your decisive fight. The game just ends from there with, not really much in the way of buybacks left. Game 2 last week then. Let's see if we see any of this in game 2 this week. Again, you see the Nick Dazzle. This time Lopebone is, I believe, playing the Spirit Breaker. Carl on the Void Spirit again. We didn't see that here, but I think it was first phase banned, both in game 1. Then you got the Ogre for Sabata, and the Luna again for Steven. And your decisive fight for game 2 then. So they're doing Roche, Actually, it was the other team we saw sneaking Roches tonight, but they're doing Roche. There's some hero smoke, but they're pinging out because they know these heroes uphill. They've got vision uphill. You get the charge in from Loaf. You get a huge, huge fight from Carl there, where he catches 3 heroes with 2 Astral Steps and 2 Axe Resonant Pulses. And while G is able to land a very nice Chronosphere, they're able to wipe them at the Roche pit, take the Aegis, and go end the game. Damage bomb. There we have it. So now back into the lobby. Actually, I'll show you the splash screen because that's prettier, isn't it? Yeah, I did my research. I wasn't bullshitting when I said that's the reason I'm casting this game. It's because I did, I had some content prepared I wanted to try out. I think I'm going to have a co-caster hopping in, so that'll be nice. Slightly less with just me talking. And there we have a casting channel. Lovely. Oh, good, because I want to eat some more of my food. Looks like we have everyone in the lobby and we're about ready to go.
Oh,
Hello. Speak again. Just want to check the levels.
check. Hi, hello chat, hello Nathan.
I think that looks okay. I might just boost a tiny bit. Chat can let me know if that's wrong. Well, cool. Yeah. So okay. So choice is coming out for game 2 then.
Who do we have? No, we don't have the choices yet.
Nope. I'm gonna go and update the standings quickly though on my image. It's gonna be very high quality. I'm doing such high quality production tonight. It's mad. Oof. He says, as he realizes, actually the best way he could do this is just to change those 2 numbers. I can't be asked to fully read. Oh, actually, hold on. Did I leave the spreadsheet open? I did not, because my computer crashed, didn't it? That's annoying.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. It's like 28 or something. Have we got any
Diversity
choices then?
Quota have second. Well, is that a puckin turd have first?
You see, this is really interesting because I think drafting as first pick is way easier right now. But both these teams have preferred second.
I think, like, I played against this team last time. It just is based on the fact that is that a puckin turd have Steven as their sole win condition is how
I mean, Carl
I
was
saw it,
sick in the game
and
for you guys last week, right? Carl had a great game.
yeah, Carl had a great game, but like if you look at that team, you're like, okay, we want Steven to have the best game possible. And if you want Steven to have the best game possible, you give him ultimate last pick. And if you want to counter Steven, you take the ultimate last pick away from him.
I guess, I mean, giving that many bans at Steven's hero pool, I don't think is too bad either, but yeah. So yeah, anyway, on screen there, you know, we've got some more high production quality view of the standings after one game played. You can see very high quality. And we're into the draft.
Let's see. I didn't catch the ban.
They banned the Brewmaster again. This is the same as last game.
Okay.
And then we saw... What was it?
I'm gonna assume there was a Weaver ban and a Void Spirit ban?
I think so. I think that's right.
10 seconds remain.
I wonder if Diversity Quota is going to ban the Dazzle.
So Weaver goes again, Necrophos goes again.
Nick has played Dazzle for 3 games in a row now, and he's looked really impactful in all 3 games.
He's very greedy on it, and he isn't getting punished at all.
To be fair, in one of the games last series, he got put to 3, and Logan was playing 4 Spirit Break. That Spirit Break is banned. Interesting.
It's such a strong hero, and they don't want to give it away to Loaf. But there's a decent chance, I think you're right, we just need Dazzle Nightstalker to come out again. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. I expect a first pick Dazzle into a Nightstalker unless there's a Phoenix.
I think that's a pretty safe guess. I'd certainly agree with you. But no, we're just going to completely a different direction.
This is a Carl Dawnbreaker, I'm going to bet.
No. There's a bare minimum significant flex power in this, because there's no way you first pick a hero and go, this is only our mid.
Yes, that's true.
Certainly not a hero of the strength of Dawnbreaker. If it was a Quap, I could see it.
Yeah.
If it was Dawnbreaker, I don't bloody think so. You can't first pick mid Dawnbreaker.
No, I'm just looking at that team, and I'm like, who else plays Dawnbreaker? I suppose I don't know Lowe's pool, but I thought Alex didn't play it.
It must be that Loaf will play it if needed, and you know, in that situation, they can always move Nick to 3 if they need.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they're going to bring out the Mel Lubick.
Worked well before. I personally don't like it into Dawnbreaker. I think stealing,
it's hard to
unless
steal.
you can click the Dawnbreaker on the scent, it's almost impossible to steal Solar Guardian.
Well, I think I've seen Mel do it before, to be fair, so you know, it could happen.
And that, it's just a support early. That seems fine.
Comfort.
Exactly.
And certainly don't underestimate, kind of for your lower elo players in particular, the value of comfort, where their hero pools aren't as big.
Yeah, for sure. It also stops, is that a puckin turd choosing to go for a full team fight lineup with bigger ultimates? And a Reki. That is a flex between both Daggy and Ruby.
Absolutely, I'm
You know this. And Mike. That is true.
Let's not underestimate the chance this could down. But I mean, we did see Ruby play this last week, and I didn't like it because they ended up with Ruby trying to play a very heavily farming Ricky, or at least, you know, needing to hit certain timings before you can get active. And Daggy, unless I'm misremembering,
pretty sure last week we saw both Daggy and Ruby play it.
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't want Ruby to play it.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay,
Nice
well,
Stalker.
it's not going to be a 3 Dawnbreaker then.
Yeah. So unless Alex plays this, this is Carl
I'm sure
saying
Alex
hello.
can
This
play it, but I think that's
almost
just
feels like a
odd.
waste of an Alex, if that makes sense.
Big vision advantage again though for Radiant so far. The Night Stalker vision was quite important at several points in the last game, and I think we'll see that again here.
Yeah.
Could be a pos 1 Dawnbreaker from Steven.
I'm looking it up right now because I don't
Whether he's
think
ever done
Steven's
that.
ever
Yeah,
played
I don't think he's ever done
Dawnbreaker.
it either. But it's not ranked, so try it out. Am I right?
Beautiful.
So they banned
Alright. The Void
the Void
Spirit.
Spirit because they're not going to pick it themselves. So that does seem to support your theory of this being a mid Dawnbreaker. I just want to say that if it is, I hate it. I'm going to put that on record now.
That is fair, and I also think Carl will not care.
Well, no, but talking about how... I think it actually makes how they play the game quite difficult, because Dawn wants to play away from the team in ulti in. But Steven doesn't want to play with his team early on. It's Steven. Tusa ban,
Yeah.
sensible TA ban, showing some respect, I think quite rightly, to the strength of that Ruby TA. And here comes all the same bans as last game from Diversity Quota. Dusa, Naga. Presumably it's going to be like Terrorblade or PL again next.
So Steven has played Dawnbreaker twice in what I presume is Aghanim's lab, and that's it.
Nice. Razor ban.
So if he
Razor
plays
ban.
this, Razor ban.
Trying to work that one out. Are
That's
they wanting to pick
I want to
Lifestealer
play
then?
Troll, Lifestealer. Those are the
Lifestealer's
two
a
I
good guess to
immediately
work
think
with
of.
Night Stalker.
Yeah.
And, you know, make up for the activity deficit the Dawnbreaker might bring. Yeah, and
Or
that's the
alternatively,
that's the diversity quota to agree with, and they
Yeah.
ban Lifestealer.
I was going to say, or they don't know what to ban themselves. They don't fear anything, but they very much don't want diversity quota to ban another of Steven's carry heroes, so they bait that out with a Razor ban.
It's possible. That would be some 5-head stuff, I think.
It's stuff Carl would think of, and it's also stuff that Carl would then be like, when it doesn't work, be like, ah, well, shit. But then you have a decent Lifestealer game, so...
So how are DQ going to use this pick now? Off the protected ban.
Thing jumps out to me.
Just the Ogre.
Ogre.
Bring out the other support. That's probably Mike's
This
hero.
makes
So it makes the Vicky
this
a
Ricky
call.
very likely to be a call.
Yeah,
There's
definitely.
a chance for a 3 Ogre, but I would not like it at all.
Well, more importantly, Tom would not like it because it's not meta. And Tom is, as Nick will tell you, a meta sheep.
5 seconds.
We're never letting go of that. Because it's, you know, very, very, very slightly funny. Also slightly accurate as well. Tom does not like doing off-meta stuff, particularly. And they're just going to go for this Luna
Hey,
again.
I feel like I've seen this hero before.
Oh, and a Dazzle!
I also think I've seen that hero before.
Okay, so... I mean, the Luna Night Stalker combo I love because of the amount of vision control they have. Nighttime is just not playable for the other team.
And
Because the Flying Night Stalker with plus 1000 night vision is just completely absurd.
5 seconds remain.
And again, it's already really hard for DQ to take fights now. Oh!
Darkseer.
Oh, we're getting a Tom Darkseer. I wonder how they're going to lane this. Are they going to put the Ogre in lane with the Darkseer?
I have not seen Tom play Darkseer much.
No, but it feels like this probably is his hero, unless they're planning to do mid Darkseer on Ruby.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it feels more like a Ruby hero.
No, I can see Tom thinking it's a good Darkseer.
I can see him playing it, don't get me wrong. It's just...
Quat ban, fine so far, so they think this is an offlane Darkseer. I mean, the other thing is it could always be a Mike Darkseer if needed, and Tom play the Ogre.
Yeah. Oracle ban?
Oracle ban.
Alex? Yeah, that... last game they had trouble getting through,
Shallow
killing
points.
Steven
Yeah.
through Shadowgrave. Imagine killing someone through Shadowgrave and False Promise.
Double save. Yeah, you struggle a bit on the aggression though if you have Dazzle or Dawnbreaker, I think. Morphling ban. Again, banning one of Ruby's stronger heroes, showing some respect. I think they've got a Night Stalker there and a Luna who buys quite an early Scardy. I don't think Morphling is something to be unduly worried about. But, you know, just ban heroes that the people are good at, I guess, if you're not sure.
Sorry, Bloodseeker?
Yeah.
I guess it's good into Surge, and yeah, the Blink Strike from Ricky probably is not enough range.
Yeah, not sure. Is this some plan
Otherwise,
to get Pango?
yeah, that's my immediate thought. But that seems terrible into Night Stalker, right? Like you get silenced and sat on, and you're just sad because you can't roll up.
Probably, yeah. I mean, you can buy Yules and it helps a bit, but you know, it at least means you live through most of the duration of the silence. But yeah, I think that's a bit difficult.
Is it worth it as a Pango to get like a 4-staff in that situation?
You need like 4 staff and shard, I think. Just up to just more silences, and you're right. I mean, you're right. It is a mid Dawnbreaker, and I hate it, but I think they still have the better draft right now. I really dislike this Ricky. To be honest, that's a lot of my problem. I don't like Ricky at the moment. I don't think the hero's good, and I'm not sure what it's offering. I'm certainly not sure what it's offering first phase.
Look at it this way. Now, obviously, this wasn't the case when they picked it, but now that it's here, it does offer a way to get on top of this Dazzle and kill him.
I think you're going to struggle to have the vision to see this Dazzle because of the Night Stalker.
That is a good point.
And I think this Night Stalker can carry a gem and be a complete nightmare for the Ricky.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Ricky as a hero at the moment. I think this is a hero pool thing more than anything else. And I certainly don't like the idea of playing Ricky into both the Night Stalker and Disruptor silences. Like, you've got to buy BKB on Ricky, which never feels nice.
Rough.
So, you know now it's a mid Dawnbreaker that you're laning against. I think you pick something strong that's going to punish it.
Like,
I mean,
OD seems like decent
I think
into all
OD
3
is
tools.
very hard to play here because of the Night Stalker and Disruptor.
Just because of the silences.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Nope.
And they make use of the lack of
I mean, it's
Razor
mid-troll.
and
And
Troll.
you know I've got a lot of space in my heart for mid-troll. But they're stuck on 2 farming heroes again. And Troll actually blooming hates silences.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I really don't understand that. I mean, like, yes, if you can connect on the Luna, you're pretty good at, you know, just man fighting down and killing the Luna. But I think Shallow Grave is, you know, a way to give Luna your ult, so to speak. I don't know. I don't like that. You know, I like the idea of picking mid troll at the moment, but I don't. Well, all the time, but less so at the moment, I suppose. And I just think Troll Ricky. If you remember their game 2 last week, they had a tricore of, what was it, Wraith King, Ricky, Lycan?
Yeah, I think so.
And they just really struggled to get anything done. Because they didn't really have a way to fight. And, you know, Darkseer is obviously, I think, much better at contributing to that than Lycan. And certainly the kind of danger stages in the game. But I think they're still just going to have so much trouble fighting. I was worried that Radiant were not going to be able to fight, but now I think Dire have even more trouble fighting.
And if both teams decide, no, we don't want to fight, then I think the Luna will accelerate faster and then come looking for a fight.
Yeah, I'd worry less about that because, you know, I think... I don't think Luna necessarily just wins if this becomes a farm game. You know, you've got a Darkseer for one, right? You've got your own blooming Luna.
Yeah.
Troll, as I say, is pretty darn good against Luna. Whirling Axes. 6% miss chance. It's, you know, it's hard for Luna to get out of all these things. You've got Smoke Cloud as well for another 75% miss chance that you can't Manta.
You're gonna have to buy a BKB on this Luna.
Yeah, and I mean, Steven is always going to do that anyway, because he bought a BKB early last game, and I wasn't really sure that it was that necessary.
Yeah, that was...
He's definitely going to buy it this game. I'm just saying, I don't think, I think Radiant should look to be active on whatever timing they think it is, whether it is Steven just gets a BKB and they go, or something else.
The other thing that we hadn't talked about in the draft is that it's not just going to be a Night Stalker with all the night vision in the world. It's going to be a Night Stalker with all the night vision in the world that can have a Solar Guardian on top of him.
Also Glimpse. Good luck ever getting
Also
away.
Glimpse.
Good luck ever getting away. You know what I mean? If you're like, this is
Yeah.
quite bail out. Like Glimpse is nightmare enough at the best of times in those situations.
I love that damn hero. But yeah, that's...
And again, I think Radiant have a vision component to their draft that Dire don't. I think so much of this is on Tom on the Darkseer to win them the game.
And the Darkseer Luna lane is... Does Luna have enough range to not get absolutely killed by the shell?
Probably not. 330 range. I think shell radius is bigger. No, radius is 275.
Radius 275.
So if you position correctly, then yes, okay.
No.
But I think it's a fine enough lane for Luna anyway, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not least because the Disruptor's going to do this.
Steven missing CS, SMH,
Tom's
never
got
worth
a
it.
ranged hero in lane with him, which is just horrible.
Normally you'd want a range with a melee, but yeah, not
Not with the
here.
Darkseer.
Not with a Darkseer.
With the Darkseer.
They even had a melee hero
Yeah,
that worked really
Ogre's
well.
not the
But...
Ogre's not the best combo for Darkseer, but it's definitely worth more than I think this Rubik's going to be.
Maybe you're just worried that Mel plus Daggy is just too weak of player lane. Meanwhile,
Yes,
Daggy is poison touched and is just taking a lot of damage top.
How do you play Vicky into this lane? I don't know. Like, I think Ogre struggles to help in this lane, so, maybe the point is that, and, like, if an Ogre Vicky lane is weak, then a Vicky Rubik lane is horrifyingly weak.
Yeah, but at what point is there just diminishing returns on how much weaker a lane can get?
Yeah, it's a point, yeah. At some point you just...
Meanwhile, bot lane, Tom is going down. His corpse gets glimpsed.
And did he lose his courier as well? He did.
And for the dark moon.
Well, at least
Yeah,
he's
no.
back at base. And it delivered.
Yeah,
But,
it's
he's
a
not
little
going to be
bit
doing his soul angle. Assuming he gets
is it-
in the next 40
well-
seconds.
40 seconds for 3... it's only 200 gold. Yeah, okay, that's absolutely
Four last hits,
doable.
right, I think.
Bit more than that, I
With
think,
it
but-
pushing in. Well, plus timer, so.
Not.
Yeah.
Hold on.
If he gets most of this wave, he should have it, but...
We've got that question to ask here. Can Darkseer stay on lane? Because Ricky's going to have to find a way to leave lane at some point. But Ricky doesn't jungle for shit either, but this lane is unplayable for Ricky, I think, when it's night time.
His soul ring is delayed by effectively 5 seconds, so the courier death is not too bad.
Not too bad at all, yeah.
And
And they,
oh, Mel's in trouble. I was gonna say good on Mel to stay away from the Darkseer,
yeah,
but
Mel is dead.
that is not the place to get back to stay away from them.
I hit the kill switch.
Tom at least now at level 2 Ion Shell, and he's done the vacuum build that people are doing, but normally they do that I think because you're planning to get aggressive in the lane. Like, and you can create kill threat with like vacuuming someone into 2 Ion Shell creeps. I'm not sure that's how this lane works, so I'm not sure whether he wouldn't be better with Surge. I mean, Surge is difficult as well because of Glimpse. But...
Surge doesn't do much, and you do have a double vacuum in that you can vacuum and then you can lift. So
Oh, Nick goes down in the top lane.
and
Did not expect that.
might go back
Mike's
down
just
in
gonna walk
turn.
away.
Yeah, it does look no,
Yeah, Mike just walks away.
not fast enough.
But a finished corrosion on Daggy, that's nice.
That-
Not too bad at timing.
But finished corrosion on both those cores in that lane.
Oh yeah. Meanwhile in the mid lane,
Meanwhile,
Troll
mid lane,
is significantly ahead, and I kind of expect that, to be honest.
yeah.
Troll is going to be able to stay on lane here, which is important, as I say. I mean, maybe Troll can give the lane over to Vicky. Alternately, if needed, because Vicky can't really jungle.
Top lane, Nick is chasing out Mike.
Mike's dead, yeah.
Yeah, that's just a dead Mike, and Daggy comes over. But with the way, how far the wave is, you can't really go there anywhere, so you don't lose farm. Lose a bit of XP. Meanwhile, this is just constant fighting. Bottom, Mel might die. Yeah, Mel is dead.
Yeah.
And Tom might die here if there's a glimpse.
Are they gonna do it?
He doesn't have
No.
range. He hit,
level one
so he
ones.
couldn't see uphill,
Right.
and then didn't have range for glimpse.
So, I mean, Ruby off to a great start again, but both the side lanes, I think, struggling is a very fair description.
Playing Daggy, Loaf did just hit that nighttime timing.
Discussed, yeah, and I think this is now...
Beautiful
so hard.
body blocking by Mike, but it's not enough.
Night Stalker's got way too much armor. So, I mean, it's only like a Bane's armor, but, you know.
Yeah. Both our creatures of the night, they share their armor.
Didn't get that, didn't I? Wow, that was nicely done from Nick. Nick has 5 denies.
Nick knows what he's doing on this hero.
Someone should probably make him play something else at some point, just to, you know, just to see.
Yeah.
See if at this point he can even remember how to play another hero.
He'll pick Phoenix. And he's like, shit, I just picked Phoenix with my Night Stalker. Oh, Lovebone might be going down here, but there's a Grey.
Oh,
And Carl's rotating in. Yeah, and goodbye, Mike.
dies. Ruby is going to pressure
Good
the tower
response.
off this.
Yeah,
Carl
Carl has
obviously
TP though.
TP back. Yeah, I think Ruby would still hit this a bit. I think Ruby. Oh, Ruby's going Battle Fury as well. No.
No, how can you... But isn't the entire idea behind mid troll that you go like the Aghanims very early after at most a
It can
Maelstrom?
be. It doesn't have to be. You can do like some kind of like diff S and Y build or something like that. I've certainly done that before, but I just think I think they're gonna. How are they gonna do things if this troll has a Battle Fury?
He can play Spirit Breaker and buy Arcane Boots. What? Sean, what is this playing?
Sean's just trying to traumatize me, I think. Was Sean in the? I think Sean was in the game the other day where I said to Nick, "If you buy Arcane Boots, I'm abandoning." I think Nick then bought Arcane Boots anyway because it's Nick, you know.
Do you mean anyway, or do you mean because? You
Well,
said
quite.
that.
I think anyway and because.
Yeah, fair.
He was going to do it anyway.
Alright,
But he
so
took yeah, and in the bot lane, Tom is level 4 and Steven's level 7 because he's just been kept off lane at this point. And Mel's rotated off to do other stuff. So I presume Tom is going to go and, you know, he's already got what, 1 stack in his triangle. I presume he's going to make it
Look,
do something and go. But Alex invading for that. Sorry,
Lane.
over to the top lane.
they ran 3 people at Loaf. Loaf just walks away with a grave that wasn't even necessary, and Mel is now very low. Ruby is chasing after Carl and is now TPing away to
Bot lane to look at this
bot
stack,
lane.
perhaps? But there's a Sabata just sat there.
Beautiful glimpse. Now Steven's in Tom's face and it's like, yeah, I'm here. He doesn't have Eclipse, so Tom's going to live, but he can't be
They're gonna
happy
finish
here.
off that stack, but I mean, this is so rough again already for.
Nick is just
Radiant.
chasing Daggy
Dagger.
out. Just,
And this time Dire don't have a player missing.
yeah.
Yeah, and Daggy's not got 6 either, so can't even really play the lane anymore. Actually, I think if we check him on the levels, you've got 58684, 38555. Huge experience advantage.
Steven is bringing his Mask of Madness on the courier already.
Yeah, and again,
Getting zoned a
Nico's probably
little
the most
bit.
farmed, but no, Steven's the most farmed hero. Okay, because the kills.
Dire's top tower is in danger.
Is it not worth it?
Loaf gets Daggy in the top lane, solo kill. Use of Dark Ascension. Daggy's still not 6.
You know what the most painful part of this is? Nick is ahead of Tom.
Well, we had that last game as well, where Nick was ahead of Tom and Daggy.
Yeah, but there Nick was allowed to, well, chase down a Wraith King in lane. Well, to be fair, I guess here he's doing the same thing as he's TPing bottom for the big fight.
Still gonna pick Mel off. Daggy
That's
just
all
turned
they
up
get
here,
for that
so they're
rotation.
gonna get-
Maybe Rainier has to be happy with it. Although Tom gets glimpsed back into a cage, but no follow up, so he walks away.
Yeah.
All in all, I think that technically favored the Dire. Only getting one kill, but
No, I think it just could have been worse with the Dire.
yeah, okay, that's fair. It could have been worse.
Still
Love
gonna
Bone's
be
just
favoured.
Love Bone's just casually tanking
Daggy
with the
gets
salve.
Alex, but Daggy's going to go down in response, but they are going to get Nick, I think. Yep.
Yeah, and
Nick
Carl
should
will
get
die
Carl
here
as well.
too if he ever gets rooted.
Now, if you wanted things that favoured the Dire,
That is
That's
definitely
one
in
of those.
favour of the Dire.
but Daggy still isn't level 6. And Mel's just taken the tome.
No.
Meanwhile, many top lanes away.
Radiant's middle
How
tower
finally goes down,
Loaf is
though.
just farming up his halberd because they have one plan here. But Tom is very low bot, but is juking into the trees. Gets a nice wall.
But he
Reveals
brings himself
with the vacuum.
to the vacuum?
They're going to get the counter kill here at least. But they're going to lose everything for it. Because there's no point juking into the trees here.
Yeah, that's...
Nick and Loaf looping together again, linking up again.
Yeah. And with this pull from these Dire creeps, it means that this catapult gets to hit this tower. Not too much because Tom is back and the other creeps are a bit away. Not
Nick and Loaf making an argument for the strongest
disastrous.
laning combo this season.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see whether they can replicate it on actual other heroes.
Hey, Loke played one other hero.
Spiritbreaker once, yeah.
Yeah, he played Spirit Breaker, but and then they swapped the farming priorities. Yeah, I would love to see Nick on something else because we know he can play this hero. He can play it well. I mean, well, Ruby is nearly out of Battle Fury.
So we're going to have quite a good timing on it, to be honest.
Yeah, but
But going to need like another 3 things.
and look at Daggy's inventory. It's a very sad Corrosion Treads and a Quelling Blade.
Yeah, at least has the 6 now and is in fact level 7. But yeah, I think that's a little
Well as a
tragic.
Harmless toy?
To be honest, has to get out of the jungle. You're Ricky, you can't jungle. You've got to be in a lane somehow.
Yeah.
Top lane looks
Or,
like empty.
or if you're jungling, grab this Chip Fest that's just sitting there.
I think it's still just down jungle on Vic.
Yeah, still down. So checking in with Carl, he's got the Echo Save, but he's going just phase BKB.
Mid tower down.
Not going for the Radiance, it's not that greedy, as he TP's into the bottom, looking for a fight.
Oh, Mel gets hammered.
Mel tries to steal the ulti, but doesn't get it. Tom with a massive back wall, but I don't think it's going to matter, as Lopo's just going to hunt him down.
No.
Daggy came in to join this, but you're way too weak. You can't do anything here, and it's just
Yeah, but
TP'd for nothing.
yeah, it's the right instinct though when you know your mid laner isn't going to be able to come.
structures are fortified.
Yeah. Ruby has found Steven is on top of him.
Gotta be careful with this.
Yeah, there's no TP support. Over the stuns? No, not enough. So Ruby does get the ult off, but now
Yeah, but
Steven's
Ruby's
far away, and
down
maybe the
there.
support from Nick
Yeah,
isn't
you
even
can't do that.
necessary.
Oh, they do
Meanwhile,
find Loaf
they
and
do
Alex
find-
in the bot lane now.
Daggy making that rotation worth it? Getting some money for it? That's...
Yeah, nicely done, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw that happening with the troll with the moment you come out on the Luna. Because you're not going to kill the Luna in the ult. Luna's ult's going to drop you so low that you die afterwards.
He did not get like any like he got one rune, that was it. Ruby did.
Doesn't matter. Fruits aren't giving you bonus damage.
In a way they are.
Well, Stephen was mostly.
Because you can stay in melee full.
Stephen wasn't running away. Not really. He ran from here to here, I guess, but
Yeah.
did most of that under the stuns before they all went off.
Yeah, that is true. You didn't take the mini stun time either. Surprised at how long that stun was. Or felt.
Yeah, it did feel like there was like a double stun there or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a bit confused by that as well, but. Fall into in the mid lane.
Yeah. Have the vacuum
But
going away
Daggy
from himself.
understands target selection. He's gone after the disruptor and they get the disruptor.
So, if Daggy lived, thanks to that salve, no, Daggy went aggro when they could have
Backed off.
jumped away.
Yeah.
But if that worked, then that was a heads up play by Mike.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty heads up, even if it didn't work.
Yeah.
Just looks less impressive.
Like, now getting a loaf, and he's
But Loaf is so fast.
fine.
and slow
All the
against
hammers are
it.
being thrown. Meanwhile, thousands of Stevens away, he is
Cole doing a decent job
getting
here,
close to his
making
mantle.
making the Dawnbreaker sufficiently active to justify running it mid. I'm still not in love with it, but they are doing a good job making it active enough. I think it helps though when your side lanes have gone so well.
Low, very low. Getting chased by Daggy, but he's a Night Stalker with an ulti. He just
But
runs
I
away.
think
Nick,
that's a
he got out of that one.
Ruby's got the Asher now. Well, we'll fly it out. That's nice. Going SMY BKB. I think that's fairly sensible. Good TP out from Cole.
It's calming down a bit.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
But if you look at the net worths, they're rating 7k ahead, and Nick and Daggy are going well
Neck and neck.
neck and
Danny
neck.
and Tom. Yeah. Not really the ones you want them to be neck and neck with.
Yeah, that is. I'm sure it feels good from Nick, who has finished a mech, has finished a buckler, is now working on the Greaves.
Yep, as expected, he's gonna go just like blow in like Greaves and have 2 items in his inventory again, so he can have one. Ruby gets the ult off, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's
this kind of feels like troll. You get gone on, you pop your ulti, you die anyway.
not strong enough at this point in the game. I love Troll, I love mid Troll, but like you gotta have more support elsewhere.
Loaf in mid, going in as Saboteur gets gone on as well. Drops down the ulti, all the AoE silences as Nick comes in with a grave, and Loafbone is now looking for Mel. Gets very low. Mel going down to that massive heal from Dazzle. Is there another grave? No, not for another 17 seconds. But Daggy stops chasing and Loafbone is just out, and Steven on the back coming in just deletes the entire team. Loaf does go down in the end.
Daggy's getting the target selection right, and they are going on the disruptor every fight, but this is just very difficult. I think it's very, very hard for Dyer to get back into this already. Because their way back into this is about farming, and Dyer, and Radiant, as I said they should, have found their timing, and they're just like, we've hit our timing, let's go.
Ruby is going in here. As soon as...
I don't think this is realistically a commitment. Ruby
Yeah,
does
no,
have
no.
again, but he's probably going to have to use it. Nope, just dies.
It doesn't even get to.
That's a good wall.
Now Nick is getting gone on, but he just braves and is like, okay, sure, you can hit me, but now there's a Steven just destroying everybody with the glaive, just bouncing everywhere. And he does go down in the end to a Celestial Hammer or a Fade Ball, I'm not sure actually, from Mel. But every time they're just trading that for all of the Dire.
Nothing he could have done about that.
Yeah. Well, the thing you could have done about that is not try to take a fight, because that fight was started by the Dire.
Dire have made the read that they need to fight their way back in. But I don't think they can fight their way back in is the problem. I think they have to find a way to separate out Radiant's heroes and then fight them. Because in theory, like, their solution, like, the on-paper solution, right, is they somehow need to find the farm to be able to win fights, because they cannot at the moment.
Yeah.
But they're also not just going to get to split up and farm for 5 minutes. So they have to do risky things to find farm that, I don't know, like cuts waves and stuff like that in order to separate out Radiant, in order to take favourable fights with numbers advantages.
I think how they need to do is have Tom just push down a wave, well, like Iron Shallow Wave, while he walks alongside it from the trees, and as soon as they see someone farming that, TP across to go find someone else.
They need to do that to 2 lanes because of the Dawnbreaker effect.
That is true, and I don't know how they do it with a second lane. Ruby is trying to cut here, and she's leading the Radiant on a merry chase, but her TP is still on cooldown for 20 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, Ruby's doing the right thing though. Ruby has created space on the map through this movement, even if they're not even if Ruby's not farming herself.
Yeah, but she needs
like,
to not
Tor's getting a bunch of
die.
stuff. They've been able to push out mid lane. I mean, if you have to die and you buy a minute of the enemy team running around doing nothing, that's like them having 4 heroes
You
dead.
say doing nothing, but look at Nick top. He's just pushing away a tower.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of the team needs to run a Nick now, right? As we discussed.
Nick has taken the buff from he's stolen the power from Ellie, runs in the family, and he's just invisible.
Well, Nick's just in the wrong place where he's getting away with murder. Which I suppose makes it the right place.
Yeah, something
Depending on your-
unpunished greed is just efficiency.
Yeah, depending on your view of philosophy, if it's the wrong place but it's working, is it now the right place?
It's the right place for this game.
It's the right place for Nick.
It's the right place for this game, indeed. Exactly. Alright. Meanwhile, Radiant finished Roshan. Steven has a BKB.
Medallion.
What the fuck are Basil's talents? He has a 50 damage talent and a 20 strength talent? I'm sorry, I've never looked at his talents. That is
20
insane.
strength one is kind of mad. Ruby's gonna go down here. Seeing if they can find more. I think they can get Mel here.
They're going for Daggy. Yeah, that is juicier. Just for Alex going courier hunting instead of chasing, or they could have picked up the Rubik as well, possibly. Glimpse. Oh, they get the Rubik anyway because Mel stayed too close, not respecting the ability for Radiant to just walk at them. Now there's a Luna in your base for an Aegis and a 50k gold lead.
And this is looking like it might actually just be over.
Yeah.
Oh, Steven did a great job to read the vacuum coming and just walked away before it was cast.
I assume this would be the fastest game of the season.
If they GG'd now or ended now, yeah.
I feel like they could,
I
but
definitely think they can.
okay. Here's what I think will happen. They're going to take this lane. Dire is either going to. I don't think they're going to try anything until Mel is back up. At that point, this Rax is gone. Which point the Radiant realizes, hey, there's still a tier 2. We cannot get megas. Let's go get these tier 4s instead. Make them stop us, and then they end the game. As Daggy just gets melted.
So on the topic of ending the game,
Yeah.
I think that just happened.
I think it went exactly as I thought it would, as I said it was going to go.
Sounds accurate.
Meanwhile, Ruby's on the other side of the map without TP.
Bottom tower is under
Just finished that S and Y. As
I mean, can't
Radiant are oh no, they're just waiting at the cliff. Okay. I was about to
Go
be
get the mid tier
slightly mad for a second, but yeah, they just grabbed the creep wave. Alright, one buyback. Daggy gets the buyback as well. One final Hail Mary play, but this Ancient only has 4.5k HP and it's pretty much all gone. That's a sub 25-minute victory.
Yeah, bit of a sad one for Diversity Quota there, I think.
Yeah.
Not sure how much there's to say other than, well done to puckin turd. They
Yeah.
played Dazzle and Night Stalker 2 games in a row and Luna as well and did it well.
Yeah. Paul made an argument for why the first pick Dawnbreaker was worth it.
I think they could have had.
He made an argument. Like there's still an argument to be had.
They could have had pretty much anything there, I think.
Yeah, but he did utilize the pressure he got.
He used his spells, yes.
And the global ability.
But yeah, very comfortable for them. They at this point they have shown what their recipe for the season they're planning it to be. It's going to be those three heroes. They've done it in 3 or 4 games now. Someone needs to answer that recipe. And that's how I like to think about IDL drafting. You come up with a plan that people have to find an answer to, and it often takes them half a season to do so.
Yeah.
Might be the plan is ban one of them.
I think the plan has to be ban Dazzle. Because Loaf showed that or find a way to heavily punish the Dazzle. That is the other option. Because Loaf showed he can also play a Spirit Breaker. And you have to ban a Steven Weaver, I think. Like, I'm sure somebody's going to say maybe you don't ban that one, and then Steven gets to...
Yeah, I think, but that's what I mean. I think people will try a bunch of these different recipes before one of them works.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, puckin turd are likely to be well on their way, if not in the playoffs.
And then they'll maybe, if it gets figured out
they'll
in
probably
time.
need to come up with a new recipe.
Yeah.
That's been most of my IDL seasons. Right. Let's leave it there. Thanks, Pizza. Thanks, everyone, for watching.